This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Right out of the door!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Because I'm the Mark and I'm awesome!
The Guru.
Today I'm going to break it down for all you simpleton sweat hogs listening out there in Can Crusher Nation. I don't mean to come out here week after week and toot my own horn, but toot.
And the English Professor.
It is I, the English professor from the County of Kings, speaking the English of the Queen.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome back to another Can Crusher Spotlight. My name is Mark the Mark Martinez, and I have a great interview set up for you guys this week. Trophy boy Tyler Klein is going to be stopping by the studio, air quotes, and we're going to talk all things wrestling. Number one on my mind, has he convinced Calvin that I'm alright? There's a lot going on with Tyler. One of my major favorite things I want to talk to Tyler about is the new federation to come out since quarantine, organization, whatever you want to call it, Leapfrog. Camp Leapfrog is amazing. Guys, if you haven't seen Camp Leapfrog, make sure you subscribe to IWTV on Roku and all those other types of streaming services and everything. You get a ton of wrestling, but Camp Leapfrog is freaking amazing. So make sure you check that out. And I see Tyler's going to be up and around my area here soon. I have to ask him about that. So much to ask Tyler. Hopefully, I'm on their level. It's going to be rough for me. But, hey, I got to tell you guys about the first thing that always happens here on Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, the Spotlights. We talk about collar and elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the amazing apparel brought to you by Al Snow. And we have an amazing promo code. It is Can Crushers. All one word. Capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers, and you'll get 10% off. Here comes Al to tell you about that. Then Tyler's on the line waiting to talk to me. No, I'm actually waiting to talk to him. And hopefully, I'm alright with Calvin.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
And welcome back to Can Crusher Spotlight. Guys, you heard in the intro, then you heard Al Snow, but you heard in the intro how excited I am to have the trophy boy, Tyler Klein, come on the show, because I need a little sprucing up, but I also need some help with my foosball skills. Tyler, how are you doing?
What makes you even think that I play foosball? First of all, that's like it's like a party boy peasant game. Okay, you can do your foosball on your own time. Like, I don't have to lift a finger to do that. You're kidding me. I'm way too busy to mess with your foosball. Come on.
I heard you had mad skills at foosball.
Who the heck would even tell you that?
I can't let my sources go.
Are you confusing me? I mean, who are you confusing me with? Do I look like a foosball player? Let me ask you that. Do I even look like I would touch a foosball table at a party?
I thought it was a hidden talent. I'm sorry.
Oh gosh. No. You're confusing me with somebody else. I mean, I can get it if you confuse me with Calvin sometimes. It happens, but you know, I mean, it's hard to be one of the top 2 fashionable wrestlers in the Pittsburgh area, and matter of fact, in the entire independent scene. But, you know, foosball, really, that's the thing. That's just disappointing. It's like you don't know me at all.
Okay, I apologize because you know, I pissed off Calvin about a year ago. I was trying to get back in his well wishes having you on the show, so I clearly screwed that up.
Oh yeah, I mean you're batting 1,000 right now, and we just started.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, have a good night then, huh?
Well, wait, you brought me on here. You're just gonna go ahead and leave me like that? Okay, I see how it is. No. You can continue. Like, I give you permission. You have my permission to continue with this.
Okay. Well, I do apologize. I hate I hate my swords, but you can help me with my sloppiness and everything. So when I see you next, we need to spruce myself up. Please help me with that. And that's all in all honesty.
That's gonna probably be a multi-day thing, though. You're gonna have to block out. I'm gonna have to block out a lot of my schedule for that, just so that you know. I mean, we'll talk about hiring rates for that. After we'll talk about privately. I don't want to air it out all over the place for everybody to know how much it costs for me to come in and just completely redo your life, because you probably desperately need it just a little bit.
I definitely.
I mean, how many sports shirts do you own? I mean, let's start with that. Like, that's the ultimate. That's literally like, how many sports team shirts do you have? Because that's the ultimate tell of how much help you need.
For real? Well, I have one of every baseball team, and at least multiple football teams.
You got me at that. I mean, personally, I don't see how baseball's a sport. You hit a ball with a stick and run around. It's almost like saying NASCAR's a sport. So let's leave it at that. But yeah, if you've got one of every baseball team, that's so much work. That's like a month's worth of trying to redo your entire wardrobe.
Well, I have that collar and elbow money, so we're good.
Okay,
they'll take care of it.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. I mean, we'll start with that. We'll talk privately. You have your I'd say if you had people, message my people, but you message my people and we'll figure it out.
Okay, deal. Well, hopefully I'm not messaging Calvin, because he will not answer. I should just talk to you.
No, he's the one that wears it. I'm the one that makes it. So, Okay. I don't think you're even on his list to contact right now after what happened last time.
I know.
Still got a ways to go.
A long ways to go. All right. Well, again, I apologize, but let's talk a little bit about wrestling. You just came back from WrestleMania weekend. Yes, I did.
Let me tell you how disappointing it was to come back from that beautiful, nice, sunny weather to the awful cold that is Pittsburgh, because it hasn't breached like 60 degrees since I got back on, like, what was it, Tuesday of last week. I mean, I don't know how you Yinzers deal with this. Like, I can't. It's awful. It's just, I prefer the sun, but WrestleMania weekend, had a great time. Blast full Calvin's yacht. You know how it goes.
Right.
All the great parties.
And who did you see? I mean, can you throw it out there who you saw at the great parties?
I can't name names. What, you think I'm going to name names for you so that you can get your clout, so you can get people to get on those lists? Really? I mean, I can't believe you. Like, let's just say that the people that were there are a little too good to talk, to you. I mean, I'd love to put you out there with that. I'm sure Calvin, with some time, he would do that as well. But I can't name who they were. They're just A-list celebrities. Because there's nobody higher than the Runways as far as A-list wrestlers. So we couldn't have any other wrestlers there. It was just us. It was just the celebrities that we hang out with.
I agree. I agree 100%. And I tried. You have to give me an A for trying, at least, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot more shady ways you can go about it. So maybe we'll have to teach you those ways too, because you just can't be upfront about it. You have to kind of be a little bit sneaky. I mean, you got to manipulate. That's what you got to do. Come on.
I need a lot of training. I need a lot of training.
You do.
I do.
And aren't you friends with Ben or with BC? I mean, come on. With Benjamin, he's got to be teaching you at least something.
Some. I have not gone through the whole class with BC, but I'm getting there. The one
Start there and work your way up.
I've gotten a lot of training from Robert Parker Williams, though.
No. That was closed last year. We're gonna leave. We will leave that in the coffin of where that is. We don't talk about the past. We look towards the future. But, I mean, we can talk about my past, but now and then
Nobody else.
Let's just say that Golden Chic, the Runway, all of it is in a better place now and going forward than they were before. We'll go ahead and just put that there for right now. Maybe we'll circle back.
Maybe. I doubt it, though. I already feel the hate. So let's talk about some of the WrestleMania weekends that you guys did. Besides, hanging out with the A-listers or, you got to hang out with Effie. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Personally invited to Effie's brunch. Like, that's what it was. He messaged us and was like, hey, love to have you guys there. You did such a great job last time. I mean, what can we do that's even more? I mean, what can we show that's even more than that what we did last time? I mean, if you saw the clip, you'll know that a little bit more was shown this time. But all in all, blast being down there and being around all the other wrestlers that had been asked to. Because, I mean, let's face it, like, who from Pittsburgh was down there on GCW? It was Calvin and I. Like, who?
Top notch.
Go ahead and who?
The top notch. You guys are the top notch that were down there.
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole point. We get down there, we get all the notice, and we bring that to Pittsburgh and let people know about Pittsburgh. So we're doing everybody a favor.
You're classing Pittsburgh up, one step at a time.
Exactly. Now we just have to work on your whole yin thing and whatever that is, and you'll be good. It's almost as bad as the Boston R, or lack of R's.
I understand. So you actually got to attend WrestleMania as well. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Was this your first WrestleMania?
Yes, that was my first WrestleMania. I mean, we were only going if we had the best seats. So, I mean, private box, everything. It works going to those parties. We got to go right there, our own private box, with just hobnobbing with all the people in Tampa. Socially distanced, of course, mask up, all that. But, just loving it. It was a last minute decision, which is what the Runway does. We just kind of go with it. No plans, just live life to the fullest kind of thing.
Well, when you show up, all of wrestling is looking at WrestleMania.
The heads turn. Heads turn, of course. I mean, there's no commentators, so who else is better commentary than the Runway? We were judging everybody's outfits because that's what WrestleMania is for us. It's the outfit. Who cares who's doing what? It's who's wearing what. That's what it is.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that was my next question before we do the rewind. Who did you think looked the best at WrestleMania? Besides yourself. Besides yourself.
Yeah, we'll exclude us from that. But I will have to say, honestly, it has to come down to Sasha Banks. Like, that outfit was killer. It was bright. It was colorful. It was eye-catching. It was different than anything she's worn before. It was definitely worthy of a main event match. And I believe that I think I saw that she was paying like homage to Naomi and Tamina with her outfit, which was great. I mean, I think Bianca did too, but she had a malfunction. Her hair, like the EST fell out of her hair. I mean, who does that? You have to be prepared. Sasha looked flawless. So props to her and getting the most amazing look for WrestleMania, entrance and all.
I'm glad you said that. You know how much I love Sasha Banks. So thank you for saying that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what about the guys? Who do you think looked great on the guys' end?
Oh gosh. So it's funny because for me, it's kind of a tie. I'd say it was interesting to see Randy Orton in the white because I think it worked. And then Edge in his white too because he looked freaking amazing. Because everybody else, boring,
Black.
Yeah, boring black. Who does that? Like, I mean, Damian Priest at least has some color, but you know, the only person that can pull the black trunks or black gear off is honestly The Miz, because there's so much bling on that gear that it's just like, want it, gotta have it. You know, it's just, that's the eye catching between him and Morrison. They can just wear all the blinged out gear they want, and it's going to be eye catching. It's going to be amazing. But this time, as far as surprises, I'd probably have to say Randy Orton and Edge. I can kind of see where they went with Randy Orton and the whole story thing with the themes, and he's wearing the white. It probably had something to do with it. It was a little odd because of what happened after it, so you kind of lost that a little bit. And then, of course, you have Edge, who's just, he's Edge. I mean, he's, you know, it's just him. I mean, you had Daniel Bryan, Classic Blue. I don't even care what Roman Reigns did because I'm so over him and he's boring, so it doesn't matter. But yeah.
So you're not sitting at the table anytime soon with Roman Reigns?
No.
Good.
If I want to see
me neither.
Samoa, if I want to see somebody with a Samoa tattoo, we have Mambo. Okay, I mean, there we go. We got Mambo. Love Mambo. He's part of Golden Cheek, so we got him right there. That's Mambo is better than Roman Reigns. I'll put Mambo over because I like Mambo.
I love Mambo. I agree wholeheartedly. We just say that Mambo needs to go back to his original "Hey Mambo" song because it's in his name.
I know. I mean, I saw him the other night. He looked great. He got some new gear, like stamp of approval from me. So it's perfect. I mean, I'll miss what he wore before, but last night on Saturday, his new gear, really good, really awesome.
Nice. All right, let's do the rewind to a little Tyler, a little trophy boy.
I mean, we can always talk about me. I'm always for that.
Right, and I figured this is why you were all about this. We got WrestleMania out of the way, the garbage. Yeah. Now it's time to talk about you. And who introduced you to wrestling as a little Tyler?
So I'm not going too far. I'm not going to say how old I am or anything like that. But when I was a kid, it was definitely Macho Man. All I remember is over the top, character wise, like the tassels, everything. That's what gravitated to me toward wrestling, just because that just the presentation and the character, and of course, as time evolved and due to how I grew up, after we got past Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, we hit the Attitude Era. I'm pretty sure somebody cursed on TV and my parents made me turn it off for a very long time. So I was not allowed to watch it. And so I'd have to say that whole larger than life character is what drew young me into wrestling. I mean, I had so many wrestling, like the slamming pillow guys. I can't remember what they're called.
The wrestling buddies.
Like 3 of them.
Wrestling buddies.
I had a couple of those that I loved. I'm pretty sure at some point as a kid, one of my relatives made me a storybook that essentially put me into a story with Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and everything else like that. And like, it was a drawn one, so they kind of drew me into it. They had a professional artist do it. So that was basically my childhood. It was awesome, but that's what kind of got me into wrestling.
I'm
and
jealous.
What kept me in it. Oh yeah, no, it was great. But that's what's kind of kept me in wrestling and got me interested in actually training and stuff like that, because my favorite thing, of course, is the color, the pageantry, the outfits, larger than life personalities, and the ability to tell a story, either drawn out or in the course of a match. If you can do that, you have my attention.
I agree. I have 3 names written down. Normally I have 2 of who I like direct myself to thinking who you have taken somebody from. One, you said Macho Man, that was number 1 on my list. I also have Rick the Model Martel, and then and then I have the narcissist Lex Luger. Those are the 3 people that I see you as. Not saying. Do you agree?
Other than Lex Luger, yes. Rick Martel would have been a number 1 or 2. Lex Luger, no, because I'm going to be completely honest, the whole USA gear thing is overrated. Personally, like, that just screams babyface, and who likes a babyface? Nobody.
Well, that's why
Nobody
I
likes
said
a
the
good guy.
narcissist part of it, where you just
Yeah,
love.
I mean, if I had to pick another narcissist, I mean, this is well after. I mean, The Miz would be number 3.
Okay.
Like, if The Miz existed back then, he would be easily number 3. As far as, yeah, I'd say Martel and Macho Man, and I'd have to say Razor Ramón would be 3rd as opposed to Lex Luger.
Oh, nice.
Only because bright colored gear. You know, the purple. I've got like a couple of his action figures around my house, like still in their boxes, where it was like the purple gear, the one that I love. But I couldn't do Lex Luger because I'm over. Even back then, I was just over the whole yay USA gear, the red, white, and blue. Yawn, it's been done. You know,
I hear you.
Let's be original. Let's be original. Let's do something that is colorful and not something that you can just kind of see on every house in America. Come on now.
Right.
Can't help it.
You've probably become the English professor's favorite wrestler now, because you know how he reeks machismo for Razor. So I'm sure when we see you soon, he's just going to be like all over you if you allow him be.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. I mean, he can. I mean, I hate to steal this from Keith, but he can bask in my glory. That's fine.
He's going to. He really is.
Good.
So
that's what it's here for.
It is exactly what it's there for. What was the deciding factor for you to get into wrestling? You know, we talked about, you know, the pageantry and everything like this, but when was it like, damn it, I'm going. This is all or nothing right now.
So I was actually, the first time I really started was, I wanted to start was in college. Like, when I was in high school, we didn't have a wrestling team. So just to kind of backtrack, like, when I got to high school, I lived in South Jersey. That's where I was born and raised. But we didn't have any type of wrestling team, anything like that. Something I always wanted to do. Fast forward to college, they had a club, and I started doing that. And one of the guys in the club was actually a professional wrestler, and he gave me the name of a school and things like that when I was there. But it just never clicked to where I could, because I was more focused on school, and I really wanted to do it. But also back then I was kind of quiet. Complete opposite of, I know, complete opposite of now. Like, just very quiet, very much. It just had to do with the way I was brought up and how, like, sheltered, you know, my growing up was, being from the middle of freaking nowhere, New Jersey, an awful place. If you ever visit, just don't even think about it. It's terrible.
New Jersey in general, right?
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't go back. Like, I don't even go back to visit at all. I don't think I've been back since, I don't even know when. I can't even remember. It's just not worth it. But after I got out of college, you know, I just kind of went through my job, like, was working and things like that. And I ended up in Massachusetts, and I had a friend, a mutual friend, who was a professional wrestler. And he's like, oh, you know, why don't you come over to the training school, whatnot. And I'd watched so much wrestling by then, and I had actually trained with him a little bit. And I was at the school and, you know, bumping around, doing a lot of stuff. And the head trainer was like, you know, where have you trained out? How long have you trained? And I'm like, well, I've never had any, like, formal training before. So he's like, well, come back to this date and, you know, we'll work from there. And I came back and I just was like, okay, this is kind of a dream come true. I really wanted to do just to kind of, like, just do it for fun, not really have any, like, ambitions as far as, like, WWE or TV or anything like that, but just as a fun hobby. And that's where I kind of got started, you know, in Massachusetts, up in Woburn. It was a school called the Belltime Club, and everything. And I just kind of went a couple years, not really thinking about doing any shows. And essentially, because the one thing I was worried about with professional wrestling, and this is just kind of me, is, like, being an LGBTQ wrestler, that's a little nerve-wracking when you go out, because, you know, if you're going to be the bad guy, you're going to get a lot of things thrown at you as far as words. And that was the one thing I was a little scared about, because I didn't know how people were going to react, you know, whatever. And it really didn't matter after a certain point, but I just went through the training there, and it was about a year and a half, because my main goal was to kind of be safe and everything in the ring before I actually got into one, and protect myself, not only protect myself, but the other person. But my first night, it was great because the first night I had a match, the day before, it was this big, really big show that they do every couple months, and one of the original Power Rangers was there. And if you've ever seen my social media, like, I will nerd out for Power Rangers. Like, the original Red Ranger was there at the comic book store, and he was part of the wrestling show. So I got to hang out with him the whole day before at the comic book store. Like, got a whole bunch of pictures. I was really bad because I got a whole bunch of pictures signed, a whole bunch of everything signed. And then he was at the wrestling show the next day. So I was expecting to be in this tornado tag, or this tornado sort of battle royal. I don't even know what it was. It was so messy. I was teaming with this other student, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. We can deal with this. It's fine. I'm like, this is what it's going to be. I don't need like a big debut, whatever. It's cool. So then I'm like going back and forth and running around trying to help people. And my trainer comes back. He's like, hey, we're going to move you from this match to this match. So there was like it was some type of, they had a battle royal and they had like a gauntlet in it. So I went from the gauntlet to the battle royal. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just going to get knocked over the top. Whatever. I don't have to worry about having a partner. And then about 15 minutes later, he comes up to me. He's like, oh, by the way, I'm taking you out of that. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's okay. I mean, I don't have to debut. It wasn't like advertised. It wasn't like anything like that. It's fine. He's like, oh no, you're going to be semi-main against this 300 and some odd pound Samoan who's a friend of mine who just came in and was hoping to get a match. He's like, and you're the best person for this because you have personality, you have this, you have that, and you've got all your stuff here. And I'm like, oh crap. So I went from having like a tornado tag to battle royal to a singles match right before the main event. So I'm like, oh great. And it's
holy moly,
who's outweighed me by about like 200 pounds. So I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. So that was my first match, and my friend, I had about a front row of friends there who were there to see the Red Ranger, and then I didn't say anything, and then I popped out, and they lost their minds. And it's hilarious watching, three gay guys, or a group of gay guys in the front row of a wrestling show, because if there's somebody that comes around that they just don't gravitate towards, like, my friend just visibly like shrinks back and is like, ew, what's going on? And like just kind of doing that. And then they're sitting next to Massachusetts is like ruthless for wrestling. So they were sitting next to this like child who couldn't be more than 4 or 5, and this kid is just screaming at me, kill him. And they're just kind of looking at this like 4-year-old girl screaming at me to die. And it's like, is something wrong with this kid? What's going on? And it was one of those things where it was like, what a way to debut, just to kind of not have anything. But I mean, I wish I would have had an announcement for it, but I'm pretty sure people remembered me for my gear in it. So that's all that really matters to me. Good match, but the way I looked was the best part. So.
That's amazing. From your first match of, all right, you show up, can I please be on the card, to, all right, your semi-main event. That's awesome.
Yeah. I was a little taken aback by that. And then I did, about a week or so later, about 2 weeks later, I had a show in, Fort Lauderdale, that a friend of mine was putting on as a benefit show in Wilton Manors, which is kind of like the LGBT capital of Florida. And I did a show down there, and that was a blast. Came back, did a superhero show for a bunch of kids, and it was fun and everything, but I was Robin, and my tag partner was Batman. And of course, I got kicked out of me the entire time because it's Robin.
Duh.
Nobody's going to beat up Batman. They're going to beat up Robin. So I'm out there, and I got a cape on. So I'm wrestling an entire match in a cape, so I'm practically blinded the entire time. I've got like a giant Robin onesie, a face mask, whatever. We get to the back, and there's a shortage of gear. And I'm like, okay, somebody needs the wrestling trunks I have on under this like red leotard Robin jumpsuit, whatever. So I gave it to him. And then I couldn't find the guy again. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I need the trunks back because I'm supposed to go back out at the end of the show for some like spot against the villains, and I can't go out there in this weird looking red onesie with a black cape because nothing was like, there were no trunks.
Right.
So bright red, you can only imagine.
I can imagine. I'm imagining right now.
Yeah, it's so bad. So I walk out there and I don't have it. So I've got the cape wrapped around me in the front. I'm like, I get out there, I'm like, there's nothing but children in this crowd. I mean, it was fine. Everything was fine, but I'm like, it would have been way more comfortable with the tights. And I'm just like, do I have to get beat up again? Like, because I can't just get slammed with this ridiculous looking bright red leotard on without just having like the pro trunks on, because it's not going to transition well.
Not at all.
I still went out there and I just kind of like, I'm like walking around with like the cape closed and everything. I'm like, nobody touched me. Nobody touched me. I threw a random kick at somebody and then they went out, and it's like, it's the superhero kick. So it's like, exactly.
Pow! Whack! Yeah.
And then I'm just like, done. Yeah, exactly. And I just stood there. I'm like, I can't right now. This is ridiculous. But it was fun. And then I did a couple more things until I actually, ended up here in Pittsburgh. So
please tell me that's somewhere that I can find it, because I need to see it. It's embedded in my mind right now, but I need to see this.
I'm pretty sure I have a picture of me in the outfit. I don't know if there's actually video evidence of the match. If there is, I'll probably have to reach out to my old trainer and just be like, hey, I'm going to need you. And it was funny because the one who stole the trunks from me was the guy who was playing the Black Panther. And I'm like, what the heck does the Black Panther need? Like with a pair of black wrestling trunks. He had a full on like Black Panther outfit. I was like, they should have stayed with me. I shouldn't have gotten rid of them. Like, why are they going to you? Like, seriously, like, I'm the one that needs them. It actually is meant to go with my outfit.
The whole night, yeah.
I mean, I think I felt more uncomfortable with the fact that I didn't have the one thing that was supposed to pull the whole outfit together, and it was driving me nuts because I was like OCD about it the whole time. I was like, why? I mean, I went all the whole 9 yards. I had the mask that you could glue to your face that didn't have like strings or anything. I had a bow staff, which was great. And
wow!
One that was like, yeah, I go all out when it comes to characters. You know this. You've seen me.
Yeah.
So when it comes to everything, it's very important to go all the way with it.
Yeah, there's so much in that, but I have to touch on something which is pretty huge with you, and you brought it up, and I'm glad you brought it up. Being LGBTQ wrestler. My son has come out to me about 2 years ago, and he was kind of worried and everything. And we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're cool, dude. Yeah. I love you no matter what. And I think we have a rapport that, this isn't bullshit. This is legit. That I'm like, cool, dude. I love you. I don't care. Let's be a happy family. And I feel that same way with everybody. How is this when fans just, berate you? Does it dig? I mean, I want to know a little bit. Does it dig at you saying whatever they say, and you're like, dude, it's my life. Go F yourself.
To me, it really doesn't, because while I am LGBTQ, my character is up for interpretation.
Right.
So if the fans are seeing that, whatever, I want them to hate the character, not hate the person who's not the character. So there have been a couple times where I'm just like, whoa. And actually the worst of it was when I was in Massachusetts. But a lot of every promotion that I've ever been in Pittsburgh, anywhere, they put a stop to it. Like if somebody starts, throwing stuff like that, I don't think I've ever been to a place where they haven't either just, the promoter or the people at the door or whoever haven't walked up to somebody and told them to stop. And if they hadn't stopped, then they're out. To me personally, there are worse things that have happened outside of wrestling to me that, it's one person yelling at me because of what they think, in a wrestling show, like that kind of stuff. It doesn't bother me. And far worse things have happened from people that I don't know, or that I even do know in my personal life, to where that person who's yelling these things, that's just because either they're ignorant or they're, trying to heckle, and that's the way that they think is insulting. It's like, you want to say something that's going to bother me? Make fun of my clothes. That will bother me. That'll be the thing that sets me off, not the fact that somebody drops a word or says, "Oh, you're gay." I'm like, well, duh. Like that's my reaction. But no, I mean, it's never really been a problem around Pittsburgh, around the area, or any place that I've ever really worked where it's been a detriment. The only time I felt like it was, or at least I was upset by it, was I was living in Massachusetts, and I was really excited. I mean, I've been talking, I think it was before I moved here, and I'd become good friends with Calvin, via social media, everything, and I was really excited because I had gotten booked on a show up there that wasn't part of the promotion I was working for. It was a different promotion, and I had gotten in touch with one of the guys booking, and he reached out to me. And then the day of, the guy messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, the promoter wants me to ask if you can be flamboyant and not gay." And I'm like, well, I mean, my character's flamboyant, and I don't really advertise that I'm gay or anything. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I was getting ready to leave my job and go to the show, and I got a message like, "Oh, by the way, we don't have your match anymore. We're sorry, we're going to have to cut you from the card." They replaced me with somebody else. I was actually wrestling one of my trainers, and my trainer got there, thought he was wrestling me. He got mad, and I believe he might have left because he got really ticked off. But later on, I got the messages. I got a couple screenshots from my friends, like, "Hey, just so you know, this is what happened." It just turned into this whole well, we don't want to have a gay wrestler on the show, if he can't tone it down. I'm like, you don't even know my character. And then the promoter messaged me and was like, "I can't book you because you lied about your training and all this and all that." And I'm like, I never lied about my training. I was like, I'm wrestling my trainer at your show.
Making up a shitty backstory.
I making up a really shitty backstory. And I kind of got really upset because that's the first time I had really, not the first time I experienced it, but the first time it felt like somebody had to lie about it to me. So that kind of hurt, but I didn't let it bother me. I looked past it, and honestly, I don't even think that promotion runs anymore. And I'm getting all these opportunities to further, myself, and, the fact that I'm LGBT, and going to Mania, and going and doing all these different things. And, that person's not even running a show and hasn't run a show even before the pandemic. So I don't really feel all that bad. Or, I just kind of look in the rearview mirror, like, hey, that was an experience that happened. How to move past it and keep going forward. And I essentially have.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And you're right. Mm-hmm. You are literally up and down the East Coast. Have you been out west? Or, I haven't done a ton of homework because I just like this one being, a free form. But have you been out west, or where's the farthest you've been?
Indianapolis is probably the furthest I've been. That was actually for the first brunch.
Yeah, well,
when they did it in October.
Okay.
That's the furthest out west I've gone, and that was an experience in and of it, and in and of itself. But it'd be great to go a little bit further. Hey, maybe we'll get to Mania again next year. It's in Dallas. We've got connections in Dallas.
I do too. I do too, and maybe I'll look better next year and go with you guys.
Exactly. That's what you got to do. We'll get you ready to go to Dallas and go to Mania and go to all the shows. Because if it's one thing, you go to Mania for WrestleMania, but the biggest thing you have to do whenever there's a big Mania event is you have to go to the independent shows. You'll see some of the best, most enjoyable wrestling.
Yep.
That you won't see on the WWE event. The WWE event's going to be fun, but you're going to see some really great. I always encourage people to do it because you're going to see new people, you're going to see new styles, you're going to see new characters, you're going to see a whole lot of everything, and that's what makes it so. That's what I think makes the Mania weekend wrestling everything so great.
And that's why I like talking to everybody that we talk to on Can Crushers, because the indie stars are the ones that, yeah, you guys all have that passion to get to the WWE, AEW, the higher up ones, but we get to know you now, and you get to tell these great stories about that. You're right. I would go to Mania for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, fly my ass home, and watch Mania at my house on Sunday, because the real wrestling happens those other days.
Exactly.
So let's talk about how you and Calvin actually met up to be the Runway. A lot of people don't know the story. I referenced some of it, and I don't want to stir the pot a little bit, so I'll let you tell your side of it.
Okay, so I was up in Massachusetts, and of course he was here, and I found him via Instagram. I had just kind of started wrestling and everything, and messaged him like, hey, complimented. I was like, I love your character. It's great. Because to me, the character work and charisma and everything like that beats out the ability of doing some hi-fi spot all the time. Just because I like the way that I love like I said, I love the presentation. I love the over-the-topness, and the character spoke to me. When I was in Massachusetts, I was just kind of living to work, essentially. I was working on every Saturday. I had a decent job and everything, but working on Saturdays, I couldn't really wrestle all that much because everybody runs on Saturdays. There weren't many Sunday shows. And I just kind of needed a change in my life. So I was like, hey, what if I moved out? And I was like, what if I moved to Pittsburgh? Like, what would, I'd like to get a fresh start. I'd already come out and visited and hung out with, people from IWC and went out to premiere in Ohio and Dombrowski and stuff like that. And actually debuted in Pittsburgh at the first pit fight show as like the 16th man in a 15-man battle royal. So it was just, I didn't do much, but it was just fun. I got to meet a lot of people, and I really liked the area. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I, what can I do? Would it be cool if I come out and, be out here and live out here? And he offered me a place to stay. And I got a little more immaculated into the Pittsburgh wrestling scene, made some connections, met some people. Actually, the funny thing is the first person to actually get me a shot, and I'm going to regret saying this, was Dan Hooven.
Hardcore Hooven!
I don't know if Hooven meant it as a joke or not, but I was at an IWC show, and this was right around when 2PW was just kind of getting more and more matches, and Marshall Gambino was looking for another person. And Hooven's like, oh, here's Tyler. Tyler can, let Tyler be in that match. That'll be great. And I was like, yeah, like Hooven, sure. Like naive me, being new to the area and only been doing a couple charity show rumbles. I was like, yeah, sure. I'll do the match. He's okay. He's like, okay, cool. And I'm like talking at the IWC show with Marshall, and he's like, oh yeah, it's a casket match versus Bronco McBride. And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, it was supposed to be, I believe it was supposed to be like gory or something like that, but he's not available, so I need another person. It's like, yeah, would you mind doing a casket match? I'm like, crap. Yeah, sure. Why not? So I did the casket match, and that was actually the first, I had a couple people who knew who I was, fans and stuff like that, who I'd met, a little bit via IWC, because I think this show was like September. And I had the casket match with Bronco, had a blast, and it took a little bit to get back to 2PW, but that was my first singles. We didn't actually start teaming until October. We had gone, of course we traveled. I went to a couple different places, made connections, stuff like that. And of course, my character, everybody alluded that I was Calvin's lackey. Dombrowski did it at the second pit fight show when I wrestled Katie right after Calvin and Katie wrestled at IWC or something around that time, and he brought it into that. So that was kind of how it was born. I can't say where we got the name. We came up with the name The Runway. We were throwing around a couple ideas, and that one just kind of stuck. And then it built on from there. And of course, right as we were hitting our stride with everything is when COVID hit. So we had a good bit of matches, out in Indiana, with World's Finest as the Runway. We had a match there. Of course, the November match where Calvin definitely worked the strings at Rise and made sure RPW didn't show up and had me as a surprise. I mean, we fooled everybody with that one. The whole point of that was to get everything into full RPW, to fool all of those Rise wrestlers that I was going to be at some point maybe trying to help RPW or something, just to kind of throw them off the trail, because Calvin obviously left me in the ring, but we planned it that way. I mean, that's how genius Calvin and BC are. So we worked it that way, and I mean, it paid off in the end, because look what happened.
Yeah, you're taking over now. And the next place that I want to talk about is Camp Leapfrog. Guys, I'll stop Tyler for a second. If you have not watched anything from Camp Leapfrog, get the hell out of your hole. Get IWTV on Roku and all these other ones out there, and watch everything Camp Leapfrog does, because not only is it great wrestling, I'm going to say but everything involved in it, the storylines are so fun. It's an event. It's a legit event when it is on, and I just get sucked in that the house could burn down. I just am in love with Camp Leapfrog right now. How did you get there?
So it was about midsummer last year.
COVID.
With COVID and everything, we wanted to go and we wanted to do something. We wanted to be smart about it. And with everything that happened at the start of the summer, everything that blew up in wrestling, where things were getting uncovered and stuff like that, not to bring that, unfortunate time for the people that were involved, but one of a referee out in the Eastern PA area, Chris Levin, had all these people from Chikara who are suddenly without a home. Brought the idea of Camp Leapfrog up for them. Not really a lot of outside wrestlers. Was bringing Joe Dombrowski in to do ring announcing, stuff like that, and just it's Joe. He doesn't ever travel alone. Asked around, and Calvin and I were like, you know what, this looks like it could be fun, even if it's not for anything. We go, we make connections, we know who's there, we can kind of see where we can get from there and make friends, acquaintances,
air quotes,
if you will.
Friends,
air quotes. We get there. We actually weren't planning to have a match, and then the first match was just like a salute your shorts kind of thing.
Yes.
It was the first day at camp. And we got a tag team match. Chris came up and he's like, hey, would you guys want to look a tag team match? We're like, yeah, sure. And it was versus Ron Voyage and Trajan Horn. And my favorite part of the entire thing is Calvin and I our first part of it was we're walking through this line of people to the grill foods and whatnot. And Ron and Trajan are up there. And Calvin and I just go full vegan on everybody, yelling, meat is murder, whatever. And out of nowhere, I pick up a hamburger and I slap, I can't believe, I don't remember if it was Ron or if it was Trajan across the face with a burger patty. The reaction online was hysterical. I've had friends there were wrestlers who were watching it that I've known for a while. They're like, that was the meat slap heard around the world, because it was audible. It took me so much not to break down in the middle of that laughing, because I didn't realize I hit him that hard with a burger, and I didn't know a burger could make that kind of sound. So we slapped him, and it went right into the tag match. And the outcome of the tag match is Calvin and I were forced to eat a burger. And it was just like, it was a whole submission thing. But Camp Leapfrog in general is just a huge story. And then we had the pool battle royal, and Sam Laterna, of course, that we're yelling at her. She's a great indie wrestling personality, interviews, everything. She does it all. The girl's everywhere.
She does. She's amazing.
And we're just yelling at her because we didn't have our drinks. Cabana girl, like, yell, screaming, whatever. And then she pushes us in to eliminate us. And the whole thing was like, you had to get pushed in the pool, you were eliminated. Well, forgot that we had, it's, beginning of not beginning of COVID, but, big time of COVID. We have everybody's got their masks on. We get pushed in the pool. I come up and I go to suck in air and all I get is mask. So I'm like essentially drowning above water. And I'm like ripping my mask off. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. I almost died above water in a pool
with a mask on.
With a mask on. I was like, this is how I go out. Made it, and then we were okay. So then we just kind of like made a little VIP section in the hot tub that was there, and didn't let anybody else in.
Well,
so
clearly,
Calvin and I finally got our drinks and just sat there without, and it just everything evolved. What's really great about Camp Leapfrog is every single show is something different.
Really
there are
is.
A few where there are a few where it does have a little bit of stuff from the previous storyline. I mean, when Calvin and I are there, we're not really with the other campers. We have our own glamping tent because we don't camp outside.
That's gross.
Let alone, it's not even a tent; it's a cabin, so private cabin. Yeah, because you're not going to catch us like that out there. That's no. But we went from that to the Halloween. And we did a costume contest, of course, and we got eliminated. We learned our lesson from that and went to the Christmas one. And with the Christmas one, we had a really great match. Unfortunately, we were on the other side of opposite team. I mean, I won. I'm not going to hold that over him, but I was the one that won. My team won.
Right.
But so I was essentially 1-0, 1-1, while he's like 0-2. So just kind of leave that there. And he might be in earshot, I don't know. But had like an ugly sweater contest with that one. And then we get to probably my favorite event that we had a lot to do with, which was Love Frog.
Yes.
Which was, if you haven't watched Love Frog, it is one of the most fun times I've ever had with wrestling. Well, one, because the entire thing was basically about Calvin and I.
It was. It really was. Yep.
Calvin and I and Effie against Edith Thrill, or Still Life, who's now Edith Thrill, and her trying to put on a fun party for campers. We got to sing. We got to wrestle two of my favorite people that I've wrestled, Boomer Hatfield and Molly McCoy. Got uppercutted and kicked in the face by Molly. She's going to get it. She almost scarred my face. But she'll get her comeuppance at some point. And then if you've ever seen somebody get slammed, Calvin got powerbombed on top of me, and it was just
brutal.
Not expecting. It was brutal. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was one of those things where Camp Leapfrog is its own story every single time, and they're doing so many more things coming up. Frog Sport. The last one was the fans choose the card, which it left. We all had to vote for a card.
Camper's choice.
We got the most licensed. Camper's choice. I was excited because we got to work with one of the fastest rising females out there, Becca, Basic Becca, Scrunchy Squad. I actually trained with her in Massachusetts, so that kind of made my day, and that was so much fun because I hadn't seen her in about a year and a half. But Calvin and I joined the Scrunchy Squad, got our Scrunchy still, but the next one, right now they're doing Frog Sport, which I definitely recommend everybody tuning in, and the ones in the future are just going to blow your mind. We've already got dates set up, all that from more Camp Leapfrog coming at you, and these next shows are going to be are going to be even more. And of course, we're gonna bring even more to them.
I just want to sit in the corner and be there, literally, just engulf in Camp Leapfrog, because I say this as a mark that I am.
Mm-hmm.
I love everybody on the card. I don't care if you're good, you're bad, you're anything. Everybody's got their own personality. You know who it is. You don't care. You just get engulfed into this for hours. Oh my God.
And everybody on the outside, I mean, it's all wrestlers. That's what it is.
It is.
When we were there for Camper's Choice, it was right as it was starting to go from that, oh, is it going to be warm? Is it going to be cold? Of course, we thought ahead, and Calvin and I were decked out in fur coats.
You guys were great, by the way.
Everybody was jealous. One, they were jealous of our fur coats. Two, they were just jealous of the fact that we were warm and they were all cold. But, yeah, everybody on the card, everybody at every show, everybody is different. Everybody brings something different to the table, whether it's fast-paced move, it's character, it's, whatever. And they all contribute to the story. And not only that, this is why I love wrestling. It's telling a story in the course of a single essential episode from start to finish, and then you can go on to the next one, and it's something completely different.
It legit's a sitcom.
That's what's great about it. Exactly.
It's a sitcom, a 3-hour sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a break.
And people are, oh yeah, totally.
No, go ahead. Go. No. I meant.
And the best part about it is people are tuned in for those full 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like they will watch it from start to finish. That's how entertaining it is.
Let's take a break from wrestling, and let's get to know a little bit more about Tyler. Then we'll come back to wrestling, of course. We talked that you nerd out about costumes and the Power Rangers. Are you also... You were Robin, but do you also like superheroes and everything then, too?
Oh, yes, of course. I'm a huge... so, DC comics, not DC movies.
Ooh.
Marvel movies and Marvel properties, and not really Marvel comics.
Oh, wow.
I'm very picky about my nerdy stuff. Like, I will forever go down as saying my least... I love Batman. My favorite... Batman, Robin, my favorite superhero. Superman, least favorite superhero of all time. Totally overrated. I will die on the hill that I am on saying that my least favorite superhero movies of all time are the Zack Snyder Batman movies, except for the only shining star in it, Heath Ledger. That is it. I will die on that belief. I don't care. I would rather watch that awful Batman and Robin movie over and over and over again than sit through one of Zack Snyder's Batman movies.
Wow.
Is
it because you hate Zack?
Reason, I don't hate Zack Snyder. I don't like Christian Bale. I don't like discount, wish, hobo Batman. That is not a billionaire. I know billionaire playboys. Christian Bale is no billionaire playboy. That and the ending of the last movie ticked me off so much that I only watched it once, took the DVD out, snapped it in two, and threw it all away.
You did not. For real?
I did. You don't understand how much of a Robin fan I am when at the end of it, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, oh, I really like your middle name. It's really great. Robin. I turned it off. I was so mad. I was like, you don't do that to one of the most iconic sidekick characters in all of comic book history. You don't do that to Dick Grayson, who arguably is almost as popular as Batman is. You don't just shoehorn some rando cop character into this movie and then just be like, oh, we're, whatever. It's just an afterthought. Like, no, not here. Not with me. I can't.
In some circles, Robin is more popular than Batman.
Exactly. I'm looking at my 4 Nightwing Funko Pops right now. I've got the giant, pop collar 80s one. I've got them all. I hunt those things down. But that is forever the hill I will die on is the fact that ticked me off so much. I was so mad. I couldn't even stand it. I'm just so sad of what they've done with the DC property. If they had released the Snyder Cut, and this is why it's not Zack Snyder, but if they had released the Snyder Cut of Justice League, I would have been more invested in it than I was in the original one. Because the whole reason I love the Marvel cinematic universe is because it's not all super dark and serious all the time, and it's fun.
Right.
And they're good movies, and there's characters that you're invested in, and they build it the right way. DC not wanting to do what Marvel did worked to their disadvantage because you've got a team-up movie and no build-up, except for Man of Steel, and we all know that everybody lost their minds when when Superman killed somebody.
Yeah.
Like, everybody lost their minds. It was like, if you ever read the comics, like, it's happened before, but, you know, everybody thinks Superman animated, you know, him doing that, like, oh no. Like, but yeah, I just.
So comics are a touchy subject. Comics are a touchy subject.
They are. I am. If it strays too much from the source material, I'm just like, nope, goodbye. Or not source material, but if it's not intriguing, it's a no for me. Like, there's some that's why I gravitate towards the Marvel universe, because the Marvel stuff is it's great. Like, I can't wait to wake up on Fridays and watch everything on Disney Plus.
Nice.
I think I've watched all the Marvel movies in chronological order at least 3 times.
Just this past weekend.
And I mean, like,
right?
Oh yeah, just this past weekend, exactly. Any chance I get.
So you're in great physical shape. A lot of people send in questions on Can Crushers, like, why don't we ever ask about what you guys do training and, you know, your food fetishes and everything. So answer one of those for me. Like, what do you binge out on? You know, I don't see you sitting around the house, you know, eating a ton of soft pretzels or anything, because you've looked great ever since I first met you. Like, there hasn't been an ounce of anything.
Trying to. No, right now, I think I got too complacent in Tampa, so we got to work that off. As far as, oh gosh, there's so much. I love junk food. That's my problem. I think I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I think when I worry too much about what I'm eating, it causes so much stress that it actually doesn't help as much. And I'm a picky eater. I have to say, like, my favorite thing to go get is to binge is like sushi. Like, all you can eat sushi is my favorite thing to go do, especially if I'm having a bad day. I'm just like, guess what? We're going out to Robinson. We're going to go to Sushi Bomb, and I'm just going to eat everything until I can't feel anymore, and then come back and pretend like I'm going to go work out, and then not work out and just watch, you know, something on Netflix.
Watch Batman.
Trashy reality show.
That was my next freaking question. Are you seeing my, but you said sweets. What's your sweet? Mine's gummy bears. Like, we can't keep gummy bears in the house. I'm just disgusting with them.
I have to pick one. I don't think I can actually pick one. Like, I get caught all the time getting anything Reese's related.
Oh, you're like chocolate
that's
then.
The problem. Yeah. Oh, I love chocolate, but peanut butter and chocolate.
Okay.
It has to be peanut butter and chocolate. I have an unfortunate habit of going to Sheetz, because now there's a Sheetz on the way to the gym. Stopping at Sheetz. I'm going to get an energy drink. Calvin, just wait in the car, you know, as we go work out. And I come back with the 2 energy drinks and a Reese's Fast Break in my pocket, because I'm like, a moment of weakness. And then if we're in my car, I think I've got a stash of wrappers under my seat on the driver's side. And I'm just like, you know, I eat real fast, and then I put the wrapper there because nobody else drives my car, so it's just like hidden. And then every month I just go in and clean it up, and then just look at my life, and I'm like, wow, this sucks. What the hell? Why did I do that?
Have you had the all peanut butter Reese's? Do you like those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always a toss up between Reese's and Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, that's my second, because I'm a big gummy fan. I like gummy stuff.
Mm-hmm. I found out from reliable sources that not only will Sour Patch Kids give you a good energy boost, but they'll also kind of give you like a sugar high, like, pump. So I've got on good authority that you can have some Sour Patch Kids before a match and go out there a little bit more, like, have a little bit more muscular looking. So I've got to cut down and do more training, but I have a nice comfy bed, so it's hard to get up and do cardio in the morning, or at least feel like it. Even now, even though, like, I literally, like, I wake up and I'm like, man, I got to go to work, and then I walk up a flight of stairs and I'm at work because I work from home. So that's
super busy.
You know,
super busy.
It's a struggle. The struggle's real.
So, all right, your next match, you're going to do Sour Patch Kids, and what is your energy drink of choice?
The alcoholic in me is saying the Bang Rosé because it's like rosé wine, but that's actually my go-to. And then, of course, the gay in me is like, oh no, Bang Rainbow Unicorn.
I love
it's really sweet.
It is amazing. That or cotton candy.
I hate that that's my go-to. I hate that that's my go-to because every time I grab one, I just get this. Calvin will give me a look. He's like, well, that fits. I'm like, what? Like, I can't help it that they make one that tastes good and everything. Like, I was like, I can't help it. It says Rainbow Unicorn. It's like, whatever.
Have you had the key lime pie one yet?
I can't. I'm not a fan of key lime pie.
Oh, you're ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
Okay. I can't. Like, maybe I will give it a try. But I made the mistake of trying the birthday cake one before, and that was awful. Yeah, exactly. They discontinued my all-time favorite energy drink, but that's why I don't buy Red Bull anymore, because they don't make the cranberry one anymore, so it makes me sad. That's the go-to, and plus you can kind of it's an instant mixer. You can just mix it with vodka, boom, drink right there. That's all you need. So you don't have to buy cranberry juice. You don't have to buy a Red Bull and cranberry juice. It's all just right there.
You have your upper and your downer all in one.
Exactly.
Last stupid question, and you actually brought it up. Because I know, what's your go-to reality show?
Oh, I love The Circle on Netflix.
I don't know if I know that.
I wasn't a huge huh?
I'm a minor. I'm sorry. I don't know if I know that.
Oh, you have to check it out. It's probably one of the most ridiculous, over the top reality shows I've seen. It was either between that, when the pandemic started, it was that I can't remember. It was like the Married at First Sight or whatever,
90 Days.
Or Love Is Blind.
Oh, okay.
Love Is Blind.
Okay, I know that one.
Love Is Blind, which was the first one. That was hilarious. And The Circle, which is the second one. Other than that, I don't watch a lot of the reality TV shows. The Kardashians suck, so let's get that out of the way right now. The Runway's better than they are. It's fine.
Yes.
A whole bunch of losers. I can't stand them. But no, it's The Circle because it's a huge social media experiment, and people are lying through their teeth, and you don't know who. You have to watch it. It's so good. It's so funny. Because essentially the gist is the only way people can contact, they're all 8 people are separated. The only way they can contact is through an internal social media thing where they can catfish people if they want. They can be themselves. They can be somebody else. They can be a girl being a guy being a girl. It doesn't matter. They can lie through their teeth. They're all looking to get to the end. And some of the things are just great. And when somebody gets eliminated, they can pick somebody to go visit on their way out. And their reactions and them seeing oh my gosh, I was flirting with this. I was flirting with this girl who was pretending to be a guy the entire time. What's going on? It's so great, and it's so over the top. It's probably my guilty pleasure.
Yes, when we're off of this podcast, I'm checking that out. That's right up my alley because it's also people being a dick too, and that's me.
Great.
Yeah,
I will pull some of that for wrestling. That I always I always do. I always do. It's either I pull from that or I pull from Schitt's Creek. Because we keep on having to fight up. We have to fight. Whenever we wrestle, we have to fight over who's going to be David and who's going to be Alexis, because it's usually it's one or the other. There will be random times where we'll just yell "eat glass" at each other for no reason, because why not?
Right.
Exactly. Best purchase was, I think I was out and I found a Rose Apothecary shirt, and we bought 2.
Yes.
So, it was that. And okay. So, this isn't good. We can't start, looking. Everybody has a hard enough problem. I've got my hair 2 different colors straight down the middle, and people still can't tell us apart. It happened this weekend. The referee called me Calvin. I was like, are you freaking serious? Really? I wanted to kick him. I'm like, I'm not Calvin. I'm Tyler. I've got 2 different colors. My head is Cruella de Vil. It's the inspiration right now. Come on. I got blonde on one side. Calvin doesn't. Our names say it on the back of my trunk. Come on.
Yeah, look at my ass.
I know. It's that's why I tell people, just look at my ass. That's what it's there for.
All right, let's switch back over to wrestling. God, that's amazing. How much tape study are you putting in now? And do you watch everything from the past, or are you grabbing some stuff from now?
So I grab some from the past. I grab character work from the past, and I try to grab moves from now. I try to grab moves from people not grab moves from people, but I try to come up or find stuff as far as tape study that are either in other countries that you don't really see here, or a lot of the time, just of who I am and who Tyler is, I do gravitate towards doing a lot more of the women's moves off of the current roster, because I think they're all amazing wrestlers, and I am not a flippy person, so you're not going to catch me doing Johnny Patch moves,
Ricochet, nothing
so
like that.
Wait, no. So we'll go ahead and do this. We're not gonna do a 4-minute setup for a super kick. That's what we're not gonna do. 400 flips for a super kick. We're not gonna set that up.
Good.
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
We don't do that. We don't do that here. If I'm gonna hit you, I'm just gonna hit you. Like, I'm not gonna run around the ring, flip off one rope, jump off the second, come around, come back, do 40 million ducks, and then just go boop with my forearm. No, that's not how this works. If I'm gonna hit you, I'm just gonna run up and hit you. We're nasty. I'm nasty like that.
You are nasty.
Let's just get that straight.
Yeah.
Also too, no flips. Not everybody can do a flip, but the majority of people right now do flips.
There's too many flips. Yeah. If you listen to the podcast, there's way too many flips.
Mm-hmm.
Do a flip to put a headlock on.
Too many flips out there.
Yeah.
Exactly. There are too many flips out there, and people forget how to. The biggest complaint that I've ever gotten. Not for me, but the biggest complaint I've ever heard is that there's too many flips, and about 5 or 6 matches on a card are matches that involve a ton of high spots. And those people that are doing them are not getting remembered, because it's just cool. You did this. Somebody in about 45 minutes on social media is going to do the exact same thing. They're not going to remember who you are, because that's what you're bringing to the table. Like, whenever I wrestle, whenever I like go anywhere, I'm like always telling people, like, guys, I literally have 3 moves that I can pull out and be remembered for who I am as a character, or something I did that was cheaty or mean. I mean, literally, I was in Tampa, and I think I didn't even get bumped until the end, and I literally had my butt out and was lap dancing on Pero. Like, that's what it was.
Oh my God.
And it got remembered and got more over than
a Young
anybody
Bucks
who could
match.
have done any flip. A Young Bucks match. So, like, that's what you do. Like, you have to make those. To me, you have to make those moments. But, like, I really like to focus on old school tag team moves from the past whenever I can find them. And it's not really set people or set teams. It's just, what is it that makes sense for the Runway? We're working on some stuff, to come up with, to practice with, and to really, make us look like assholes. What can I say? That's what we do. And as far as, tape study now, I love watching what Sasha does, because I think it's so crisp, and she is really good and really talented.
Number one right now.
I don't have my hair long enough to. Yeah, I don't have my hair long enough to whip somebody with it like Bianca, but that's that could be a possibility. That would be fun. And also it could really hurt somebody, because that looks dangerous. But
yeah,
just finding different ways of doing stuff, or things that are just being different. That's the whole. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that I always look for stuff that's different.
I could see you guys pulling out some Midnight Express moves. I'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
I really, that's where I could see you guys going down the line, because I'm not going to be a dick. I can't imagine you guys doing like Heart Foundation unless you're Jim Neidhart.
No, yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I'm realistic here. I'm like, we finally got Calvin's got the ability of power bombing somebody now, so it's great.
Right.
It's really great. I have to lift them, but it's great.
It helps.
And nobody expects him to do it, so it works. It really works. So, no, I've I believe, I think maybe LaRusso told us about the Midnight Express to start watching them more and getting some more ideas. So perfect for me.
Even the Rock and Roll Express. Those are two that you watch one of those matches. They're iconic. Oh, maybe watch the Iconics. There you go.
Oh, no, yeah, I mean, now we can. And yes, Calvin, I'm still talking. When do I stop? Come on.
Oh, Calvin, please don't. He's going to get mad at me. He's going to get mad? Yeah. Okay. A couple more questions, then I'll let you go because I know Calvin is waiting. Best advice you've ever gotten backstage?
Best advice I've gotten backstage. Just even the simple, like, keep doing what you're doing. From, it was actually O'Shea Edwards.
Oh, wow.
It was the first time that he saw, it was the first time that he saw Calvin and I wrestle, and he loved it. He's like, it's something I haven't seen before. It's something different. He's like, I love everything that you guys have done. Like, there are a few things that you could change, maybe try, and just not even big things, but just to have somebody like him come up and just say, like, out of nowhere, we didn't know prior, and just look at us and be like, I love what you guys do. Keep doing what you're doing. It works. It's entertaining. That was probably the biggest thing, because anybody who on where he is and what he's done, it just meant that he watched us. He wanted to see, and he wanted to see more. And then every time we would do something with him, or not do something with him, but do something where he was there, he was always sitting there watching, give us a little bit of advice when we were done, and letting us know, it's like, here's what you did great. Here's what could use some work. But, best backstage advice to get is just to keep doing what you're doing, because it's not something that he's seen before.
Right.
It's great.
It really is. Pull them down the fourth wall. It's fresh. It's something new. Mm-hmm. And I like how you said that you've taken, some of the women's moves and made them your own, put your own spin on them. Mm-hmm. We've been waving the women's flag for the last couple of years, saying they're carrying wrestling right now, like the main brands and everything.
I 100% agree. Like, I can't tell you when the last time I tuned in, and it's funny for me because growing up and everything, I'm very different from a lot of LGBTQ wrestlers, because my favorite wrestlers, when I talk to a lot of fellow LGBTQ wrestlers, their favorites are always like Sable or Trish or Lita. And, I get the greatness of Lita and Trish, but Sable's lost on me.
A lot of people.
I like watching the girls now because it's wrestling. It's good. It's athletic. It's character. It's everything all in one. And it's entertaining. My favorite part of Raw last year for a couple of weeks was they brought Asuka out on commentary, and I don't think I cared about the match. I just wanted her to come out and scream in Japanese, because it was hilarious. And it was probably, I didn't know what she was saying, but it was the best thing I'd seen in forever. But yeah, I mean, to bring in and look at it and bring in the women's news and things that we can do, we want the things that we do to make sense.
Right.
That's what it all boils down to.
I'm going to spin that last question. What's the best advice do you give somebody? Have, little Johnny, little Calvin, little Mark come up and say, hey, I want to be a wrestler when I grow up. What do you tell that kid? Or boy or girl? God. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not nice to children. I've accidentally
What?
I'm not really nice to kids. I'm a bad guy. I'm not supposed to goblins.
I know.
But as far as I will say, when I was in Massachusetts, I'm not a child, but as far as giving advice to somebody, actually I gave somebody advice in Massachusetts when I was helping out the training school there when I was first training, and just being it was a group full of people who are LGBTQ. And I told them, I was like, look, you're going to have to learn that you're going to get out there, and there's going to be things that are said that are going to hurt your feelings, or, a fan's going to say it. You have to block that out. You have to realize that you're there for the fans, not that one fan. That one fan is saying the things that they're saying because they're trying to get a rise out of you. They're trying to, think that it's going to hurt you, boo, whatever. lock it out. Don't take it home with you. Like, there's enough problems in the world right now where, you know, you don't need this extra. So that would probably be the advice that I've given, is like, you know, continue to be you out there. Don't let the people out there dictate who you should be.
That's in or out of the ring too. That's in or out of the ring.
In or out of the ring. The only other thing I've ever told is, like, I told Becca when she was first training, I was like, you have to, like, build your character, get the basics down, go to your character, and then figure out what you can do to enhance your character. And she's kind of, I mean, look what she has now. She might not have taken my advice, because I don't think I didn't have the authority to give her that advice, but I feel like that's what she's done up in Massachusetts, and I'm, like, super proud of everything that she's accomplished up there.
I follow her on social media. She's tearing it up. Mm-hmm. She really is.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I need to reach out to her because she's one of my favorites as well.
Please do.
Yeah.
All right. I sent you. I'll give you the in there.
Really?
I sent you.
Yes. Not Calvin, though. Not Calvin, no. Just you.
No, she knows me.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll let you have that in.
Nice. I will use that. All right. Last question we always ask, and it's one of my favorites. Dream match, and there's a couple stipulations to this. Who are you going to wrestle? Where are you going to wrestle? And what is the stipulation of the match?
Okay, well, I have to keep this. I'll keep it clean. So yeah. No,
you don't have to be.
I'm just kidding. No. So. Oh. It's gonna be. It's so hard to do this, and so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it as a tag team one.
Okay, that's fine.
Calvin doesn't get a pick of who the opponents are, because this is mine. It would have to be. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna do 3-man tag team. That's what we're gonna do. It'll be me, Calvin, Mambo, and I'm only throwing Mambo in there because I need the 3 spots on the other side.
Ouch! You just buried.
Sorry, Mambo, if he listens to this. But,
take BC then.
He might understand why. Versus Zack Ryder, The Miz, and Finn Balor.
Oh wow!
What was the second part of that? Because that was only my guilty pleasure kind of thing. That's my guilty pleasure. We won't do that. But I got one better. So the singles match would be Ty Dillinger, not Sean Spears. Ty Dillinger.
Okay.
Where? The second part of that.
Where? Yeah.
Let's see. Where can I get the most people? Probably Miami, Florida.
Okay.
1, it's Miami, 2, it's warm, and we're not about to do anything in the cold, and it'd be outside.
Of course.
So,
yeah, let's have it at like the Marlins Park or whatever. Yeah. And the stipulation of the match.
Stipulation is there would be probably two. Who's the better gets the who is the perfect 10? Obviously me.
Right.
But I mean,
have you seen his haircut recently?
Who is the perfect 10? Yeah. No offense, Dime, whatever. But yeah, I'll take Ty Dillinger, and who's the better Tyler? Like we'll keep it at that. And who's the perfect 10? That would have to be the singles match. The 3-man tag one was just because I would love to wrestle any one of the 3 people that whatever. Calvin and Mambo don't count. But
you just need Mambo. You just needed Mambo. Poor Mambo thrown under the bus.
I just like Mambo. You just need to be there and just stand there. No entrance, no nothing. Just stand there. I just need a third person.
You could have picked anybody. You could have picked me. You could have picked anybody.
I know. I had to give him. I mean, Mambo's got the NXT clout, so I needed him.
Touche. You're right. You're right. All right, this is your time now. What do you got coming up? Sell some merch and tell everybody that isn't following you because they're idiots to start following you on social media.
Yes. All right. So, hang on.
You're really pulling your calendar up right now. Damn you.
I had to build my calendar. It's getting full right now. So next place you're going to see you'll see the Runway next on May the 1st is our next show. It's going to be at Eclipse Wrestling out in Altoona. That announcement should be coming out within the next day if it's not already. From there, we've got stuff coming up with 2PW, more Camp Leapfrog, of course, on the way, and just all kinds of places. Oh, I'm sorry. That's this coming weekend. But yeah, no, those places are going to be where you can catch Tyler and the Runway as well. So Calvin also. If you aren't following me, social media, why shouldn't you be following me, first of all? Tyler Klein on Facebook. I've got a page, and if you want to send me a friend request, do that as well. Instagram, where I'm most active, trophyboy_Tyler_Klein. And then, of course, the Twitter, like everybody else has, tboy_Tyler Klein. All match announcements, promos, photos, whatever will always be up on those social media sites. And, of course, if you want that awesome new Tyler Klein merch, we got the Pro Wrestling tees. And the Runway Tag team shirt, which is brand new, is actually on Calvin Couture's Pro Wrestling tees page. So check that out as well.
And I gave you a little spoiler before we came on the air that I was looking. You guys know I'm getting a wrestling logo tattoo, and I told you before we were coming on air that you guys have made the tattoo. You've made the sleeve. Yeah. So you guys will be on the sleeve once it's all said and done in like 2 months or whatever. So I can't wait to pose with you guys.
Prominent right in the front, right?
Oh, clearly.
Right, everybody can see. It's not going to be under your armpit.
No!
You're going to have to clear it with us first.
I thought it was going to be like on my forearm. Right where I hold it proud, because on the other forearm is, my memorial to my mom. So, I have two things that mean something to me on my forearms.
Yeah, well, we got to go over who you have next to us, because we got to make sure that it's us front and center. I mean, we can talk about who you have us connecting with on there,
Well, Macho Man's going to be on there. Sasha's going to be on there. Bailey's going to be on there. A doctor that I personally know is going to be on there. So,
This sounds like a great tattoo already. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm a 44-year-old child that loves wrestling. And I love you guys.
Well, we appreciate it, of course.
Yeah, not at the beginning of the show you didn't, but...
we'll work things out. Okay? We'll get Calvin on board. I'm pretty sure if I tell Calvin about what you're doing, I think he'll be on board.
Good. All right, Tyler, I'm going to let you go tonight because Calvin, I hear him in the background. Are you still talking to Mark? So I will let you go, and then have a great night, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody.
What an amazing human being the trophy boy, Tyler Klein, is. To speak about LGBTQ, that's awesome. Knowing about his first match from going into a battle royal, into a singles, and then, hell, you're in the semi-main event. That's really cool. I'm excited to see him this coming Saturday in Altoona. Guys, tickets are available at the door. You'll see the post of where they're going to be, so you can log on the Facebook to see that. That's going to be coming up tomorrow. I'll copy and paste it so you'll be able to see it. But again, I want to stress, I really want to stress, I'm so excited about Camp Leapfrog. Everything they're doing there. There's a host of people I really can't wait to talk to from Camp Leapfrog. If there's somebody that you want me to reach out to first, send them over at cancrusher69@gmail.com, or find us on all social medias. It's all at cancrusher69. Man, we'll reach out and we'll talk to anybody there if they want to. They might hate Can Crushers as much as Calvin did back in the day, but now I think we're going to be friends. Guys, remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called the garbage can, not a garbage cannot.